Hi guys, man. Arsenal won, Tottenham won in the Premier League. North London derby, one of the biggest fixtures in the Premier League. One of the games that both sets of fans look forward to at the start of the season when they check their calendars. No one wants to lose this game. Yeah, I can't explain how much this game means to the fans and how important it is and the magnitude of this game. You should know it by now. Going into the game, we knew it was great. We needed to win today. It would have been great to win today. We saw Conte's men continue their fine form and resurgence and take 3 points. We saw Pep's men yesterday at Middlesbrough, drop points. So yeah, and on top of that, Spurs are undefeated. So this was a day to really just have a great day and just put a lot of things to bed. Going into the game, both sets of managers decided to play coy in regards to who's fit on Pochettino's side. He didn't give much away with Lemayna's fitness, with Kane's fitness, with Dembele's fitness, and we didn't know who was going to play centre back in Toby's absence. On our front, we didn't really know if Theo was going to play. We didn't know who was going to start in midfield. We kind of knew Santi wasn't going to play, but we had some sort of hope he'd be in the side. So we welcome back Theo and Monreal. Spurs are undefeated this season. They haven't won in the Prem in a while. I think since the City game, if I'm right or wrong. So yeah, we're going into this game with a lot to prove, a lot of stats to kill off. But we knew both sides were going to really want this. I mean, this game really did live up to the billing from the off. Both sides were now on Arsenal's front in the first 5 minutes. We pressed Alexis especially. We pressed their defenders. We didn't let Spurs settle. Spurs also did the same from the off. Son was presenting us with troubles as he constantly drifted into the flanks, and he completely done Kostafi today. There was one incident he nutmegged him and put a ball in, and on another day Spurs might have scored from that. I think props have to go to Pochettino in the 3-5-2 formation. I think every Spurs lad did their job today. They outnumbered us in the midfield. Like I said before the game, Rose and Walker were going to provide a lot of width and be a danger, especially Rose. Rose had a good game. He constantly made an avenue, constantly made an option, and I was really impressed with Rose. We also got to see Coquelin and Xhaka for another time in midfield, first time in a big game like this. And I think under the conditions, both of them had a good game. But generally, we were too narrow. I mean, on Arsenal's front, we were way too narrow. We didn't put enough crosses in, and that allowed the centre backs at Spurs to get confidence and keep a flat line and venture forward. It was just poor. In the final third, our play wasn't good enough. We didn't create enough chances. We only came awake in the last 15 when we scored. I mean, apart from being offside for how many times and hitting the post, Theo did nothing. Alexis wasn't at it today. Ozil wasn't at it today. Spurs were the better side in the first half, and it was really harsh. And football can be harsh, and that they didn't go in with anything in the first half. And like I said, the last 15 minutes, is when we really started to be at it and we really started to do anything. That's when we saw two great chances from Iwobi. The first was a great bit of 1-2, and he tried to slide it under Loris, but there wasn't enough power. The second was a great break from our lads between Ozil and Alexis, and again, just wasn't enough power. Unfortunately, Iwobi seemed to let the occasion overroar him somewhat. It's disappointing, as this is a man that played very well against Barcelona in the past, but it wasn't to be his game. But yeah, we were very, like I said again and again, we were very lucky, like we have in some games this season, all too often gone into half time or whatever, and been in a position where it doesn't match how we've been playing. If I was a Spurs fan or Spurs player or Pochettino, I'd be absolutely livid that we haven't got anything from this game. And if I was Arsene Wenger, I would be angry that we're not playing to our potential. We see, like I said, apart from the first 5 minutes, we didn't seem to want it. But yeah, second half came, both sides decided to be at it again. Spurs looked like they had new belief. They started to venture forward a bit more. They started to have more clear-cut chances. Eriksen, who apart from a bit of a segment in the first half, woke back up. He forced Cech to make a brilliant save. Bellerin had to produce a great slide challenge to deny someone. Kane was troubling throughout, won a lot of fouls, had a lot of chances, and when he gets his fitness back, will probably score a lot of those. But yeah, Spurs deserved their goal, you could say, on the basis that it was justice restored, because we got a goal that probably on another day shouldn't be given. Very soft penalty. Dembele, who had a great game today, dealt with all his problems great today. I don't think he'll get the headlines because he's not that sort of player, but he put out a lot of fires. He brought the ball forward. But yeah, Koscielny should know better, experienced, seasoned veteran. We rant and rave about Koscielny. Very soft penny for Koscielny to concede. Harry Kane never in any doubt pull it in. So yeah, 1-1. We seemed to wake up a bit after going a goal down. The fans got on top of our lads. But again, we just didn't do enough. It was nice to see Wenger be positive and bring on 3 substitutions. We saw Ox, we saw Ramsey, and we saw Giroud. Ramsey didn't get forward as much as I think he could have. He's obviously told about leaving gaps in the middle, but when he did, he didn't do anything of note. Kept taking ridiculous shots from long range. I don't know if he thinks he's David Beckham or someone, but that was ridiculous. Ox wasn't at it. I mean, Ox has been in good form. We've ranted and raved about the Ox, about how he needs to be at it this season if he wants to stay at Arsenal. He just seemed to want to argue with the officials and the linesmen. His crosses were off. His passing was off. He was just not doing the right things. Giroud was doing what Giroud could. He'd done a lot of dirty work for the team, in my opinion. On another day, he probably would have scored a couple of them headers. But yeah, I don't feel we deserved anything from that game other than a point. Spurs deserved a point too on the basis of it. Yeah, we just wasn't good enough. There's not much to say after that. We just wasn't good enough. Certain star players in our team just wasn't good enough. I think man of the match, in my opinion, is Dembele. Like I said, he put out a lot of fires. He won't get the headlines because he's not that sort of player to do headline stuff, but he put out a lot of fires. His positional sense was great. He organised a lot of his own players, a lot of great passes venturing forward. I feel Kostafi wasn't at it today, our partnership Kostafi. They both failed to deal convincingly with balls in the air. Kane just seemed to just constantly just be able to con the ref by getting fouls off them. I think Monreal had a good game. I can't remember if it was the first or second half, but there was a very important challenge he made to deny someone. But yeah, I mean, November, as stats show, it's not our greatest month. It's the hardest month in Arsenal's calendar. We just have to move on. It's disappointing we dropped 2 points, but we've got United. Jose, regardless of how United are, Jose is not going to want to give us anything, so we have to go. We just have to forget this game and just go on. But it's Deluded Gooner, like I said, man. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, hit the button there. Don't go off this page without subscribing. Show anyone you know that likes football, that just wants to hear football. No gimmicks, no FIFA, no nonsense. But yeah.